The illusion of control. Let life flow naturally. The illusion of control. What if everything you're trying so hard to control is actually the reason you feel anxious, exhausted, and stuck? Think about it. You plan your future down to the smallest detail. You try to say the right things, make the right moves, avoid the wrong mistakes. You try to control how people see you, how they respond to you, how your life unfolds. And yet, things still don't go the way you expect. Plans fall apart. People change. Opportunities disappear. Life takes unexpected turns. And in those moments, you feel it. The frustration, the stress, the quiet panic that whispers, "I need to fix this. I need to get back in control." But what if that voice is lying to you? What if the control you're chasing was never really there to begin with? Welcome to one of the deepest truths most people spend their entire lives avoiding: the illusion of control. Before we go deeper, if you're someone searching for clarity, inner peace, and a deeper understanding of life, make sure to subscribe to Buddha Flash. This channel is about seeing through illusions like this one and finding a calmer, freer way to live. Now let's get into it. From a very young age, we're taught that control equals safety. Do well in school, and you'll control your future. Work hard, and you'll control your success. Say the right things, and you'll control your relationships. Control becomes the invisible promise behind everything we do. And at first, it seems to work. You study, and you pass the test. You prepare, and your presentation goes well. You plan, and things fall into place. So your mind starts to believe, if I just try harder, plan better, and control more, everything will be okay. But then, life starts showing you something different. You can do everything right and still lose. You can love someone deeply and still watch them walk away. You can plan your future carefully and still end up somewhere completely unexpected. That's when the cracks begin to appear. Because deep down, you start to realize something uncomfortable. There are forces in life far bigger than your plans. You cannot control what other people think. You cannot control how they feel. You cannot control timing, chance, or the countless invisible variables shaping your life every single day. And yet, your mind keeps trying. It tries to predict outcomes. It replays conversations. It imagines different scenarios. It overthinks decisions. It clings to certainty, like it's the only thing standing between you and chaos. Why? Because uncertainty feels dangerous. The human brain is wired to seek patterns, predict outcomes, and avoid risk. It wants guarantees. It wants clarity. It wants to know what's going to happen next. Control becomes the brain's way of coping with the unknown. But here's the problem. The more you try to control everything, the more you become aware of how little you actually can. And that awareness creates tension. You start to feel anxious when things don't go as planned. You feel frustrated when people don't behave the way you expected. You feel overwhelmed when life refuses to follow your script. You tighten your grip, thinking that more control will fix the problem. But it doesn't. In fact, it makes things worse. Because control is not the same as influence. There are things you can influence: your effort, your attitude, your choices. But control? Absolute control? That's an illusion. And chasing that illusion comes with a cost. It shows up as overthinking, where your mind loops endlessly, trying to solve problems that don't even exist yet. It shows up as anxiety, because you're constantly trying to manage outcomes that are beyond your reach. And it shows up as burnout, because you're carrying the weight of trying to control an uncontrollable world. And perhaps most painfully, it shows up as disconnection from yourself, from others, and from the present moment. Because when you're obsessed with controlling what happens next, you stop experiencing what's happening now. Think about a time when you tried too hard to control something. Maybe it was a relationship. You wanted things to go a certain way. You analyzed every message. You worried about every silence. You tried to say the perfect thing. Do the perfect thing. Be the perfect version of yourself. And what happened? Instead of feeling closer, things felt tense, forced, unnatural, because control suffocates authenticity. Or maybe it was your career. You mapped everything out where you should be in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. You pushed yourself relentlessly, believing that if you just stayed in control, that you'd reach your destination. But instead of feeling fulfilled, you felt exhausted, pressured, always chasing the next milestone, never satisfied with where you are. Because control turns life into a constant performance. Here's the truth most people don't want to face. The tighter you try to hold on to life, the more it slips through your fingers. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because life was never meant to be controlled in the first place. It was meant to be experienced. There's a difference between living with intention and living with control. Intention says, I will do my best. Control says, I must guarantee the outcome. And that difference changes everything. When you live with control, every uncertainty feels like a threat. When you live with intention, uncertainty becomes part of the journey. Right now, most people are trapped in the first mindset. They believe that if they can just figure everything out, plan everything perfectly, and avoid every mistake, they'll finally feel at peace. But peace doesn't come from controlling life. It comes from understanding its nature. And the nature of life is change. Unpredictable, uncontrollable, constantly shifting change. You can resist it. You can fight it. You can try to outthink it. But you cannot stop it. And that's where the illusion begins to break. Because once you truly see that control is limited, deeply limited, you're faced with a question that changes everything. If control is not the answer, then what is? If trying to manage every outcome only leads to stress and suffering, then is there another way to live? A way that doesn't rely on constant tension, constant planning, constant fear of things going wrong? That's exactly what we're going to explore next. Because the hardest part isn't realizing that control is an illusion. The hardest part is learning to let go of it. Why letting go feels so hard? If control is an illusion, then why is it so hard to let it go? But why do we keep holding on, even when it clearly makes us anxious, stressed, and exhausted? The answer lies deeper than logic. It's not just about habits. It's not just about mindset. It's about fear. At the core of every attempt to control life, there is a quiet, often invisible fear of uncertainty. Because uncertainty feels like standing in the dark without knowing what's ahead. Your mind starts asking questions it cannot answer. What if things go wrong? What if I fail? What if I lose what I have? And in that space of not knowing, your brain reacts the only way it knows how. It tries to create control. Control becomes a psychological shield. It gives you the feeling that you're doing something, that you're protecting yourself, that you're staying safe. But that safety is fragile because it's built on something that doesn't truly exist. You're not actually controlling life. You're trying to predict it, manage it, and force it into a shape that makes you feel secure. And when life inevitably moves in a different direction, that sense of safety collapses. This is why letting go feels so uncomfortable. Because when you release control, you're not just giving up a behavior. You're facing uncertainty directly. And for most people, that feels terrifying. But fear is only one layer of the story. There's something else working behind the scenes, something more subtle, yet incredibly powerful. Your ego. The ego is the part of you that wants to define, protect, and elevate your identity. It wants to feel important. It wants to feel in charge. It wants to feel like it knows what it's doing. And control feeds the ego. When you believe you're in control, you feel powerful. You feel certain. You feel like the author of your life story. But here's the paradox. The more your ego tries to control life, the more life exposes its limitations. Because life doesn't follow your script. People don't always behave the way you expect, and opportunities don't always arrive on your timeline. Outcomes don't always match your effort. And when that happens, the ego resists. It says, "This shouldn't be happening." And it says, "I need to fix this." It says, "I need to try harder." But beneath those thoughts is a deeper truth. The ego is uncomfortable with not being in control. Letting go, then, is not just about releasing outcomes. It's about loosening the grip of the ego itself. And that's why it feels so difficult. Because it challenges the very identity you've built, an identity based on being in charge, being right, being certain. But there's another layer to this struggle that often goes unnoticed. Attachment. You don't just try to control life in general. You try to control specific things that you've become attached to. You want the relationship to work out. You want the career path to succeed. You want things to go exactly the way you imagined. And there's nothing wrong with wanting these things. The problem is when wanting turns into needing. When your mind says, "I need this to happen. I can't be okay unless this works. My happiness depends on this outcome." That's attachment. And attachment creates pressure. Because now, it's not just about experiencing life. It's about ensuring that life matches your expectations. And the more attached you are, the more you try to control. You analyze every detail. You anticipate every possibility. You try to eliminate every risk. But instead of creating peace, it creates tension. Because deep down, you know you can't guarantee the result. This is the hidden trap. The more you try to control what you're attached to, the more fragile your peace becomes. Take relationships, for example. When you're attached to a specific outcome, you might try to control how the other person feels about you. You might overthink your words, monitor their reactions, or worry about losing them. But instead of bringing you closer, this often creates distance. And because people can feel that pressure, they can feel when something is being forced rather than allowed to grow naturally. The same thing happens in other areas of life. In your career, you might feel like you have to succeed within a certain timeline. You push harder, work longer, and try to control every variable. But instead of feeling fulfilled, you feel constantly behind. Like no matter what you achieve, it's never enough. This is the paradox of control. The more you try to force life into your expectations, the less natural and fulfilling it becomes. And yet, even when you see this happening, letting go still feels difficult. Why? Because control gives you the illusion that you're doing something. Letting go, on the other hand, can feel like doing nothing. It can feel passive. It can feel like giving up. But that's a misunderstanding. Letting go is not about doing nothing. It's about doing what you can, without trying to control what you can't. And that distinction is subtle but powerful, as there's a moment in life that many people experience, often after repeated frustration, disappointment, or exhaustion. A moment where something shifts. You realize that no matter how much you plan, push, or control, life still unfolds in its own way. You see that outcomes are influenced by countless factors beyond your reach. You begin to understand that control was never as solid as you thought. And in that moment, a new awareness begins to emerge. You start to question, have I been holding on too tightly? Have I been trying to control things that were never mine to control? This realization can feel unsettling at first, because it removes the illusion of certainty. But at the same time, it opens the door to something else: freedom. Because if you were never truly in control to begin with, then maybe you don't have to carry that burden anymore. Maybe you don't have to constantly worry about every outcome. Maybe you don't have to force everything into place. Maybe, just maybe, there's another way to live. A way that doesn't rely on control. A way that allows life to unfold more naturally. But that raises an important question. If you're not controlling life, then how do you live it? If you let go of the need to guarantee outcomes, what takes its place? That's where the real transformation begins. And that's exactly what we're going to explore next. Let life flow naturally. If control is an illusion, and holding on to it only creates stress and suffering, then what does it actually mean to let go? Does it mean you stop trying? Does it mean you give up on your goals, your relationships, your ambitions? Not at all. Letting go is one of the most misunderstood ideas in personal growth. Because from the outside, it can look like weakness. But in reality, it's a different kind of strength. Letting go doesn't mean you stop acting. It means you stop trying to control the outcome of your actions. And there's a subtle but powerful shift here. Instead of saying, I must make this work, you begin to say, I will give my best, and allow life to unfold. That shift changes everything. Because now, your energy is focused on what you can actually influence. Your effort, your presence, your intention, instead of what you cannot control. And something surprising happens when you make this shift. You begin to feel lighter, not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because you're no longer fighting it every step of the way. At the heart of letting go is one simple principle: acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean you like everything that happens. It doesn't mean you approve of every outcome. It simply means you stop resisting reality. Because resistance is where most suffering comes from. When life doesn't match your expectations, your mind pushes back. It says, "This shouldn't be happening." It says, "I need this to be different." And that internal resistance creates tension. But when you accept reality as it is, even if it's not what you wanted, you remove that layer of struggle. You create space. And in that space, there is peace. This is why acceptance is not passive. It's transformative. It allows you to respond to life clearly instead of reacting emotionally. It allows you to move forward instead of being stuck in frustration. And most importantly, it allows you to return to the present moment. Because when you're trying to control life, your mind is almost always somewhere else. It's in the future, worrying about what might happen. Or it's in the past, replaying what already did. But when you let go of control, your attention comes back to now. And that's where life actually happens. In the present moment, there is no need to control everything. There is only what's in front of you. A conversation, a decision, a step forward. And when you're fully present, something remarkable happens. Your mind becomes clearer. Your actions become more natural, and your responses become more aligned. Because you're no longer acting from fear, you're acting from awareness. This is the paradox most people never realize. When you stop trying to control everything, you actually make better decisions. Because your mind is no longer clouded by anxiety and overthinking. Instead of forcing life, you begin to flow with it. And that flow brings a different kind of confidence. Not the confidence that says, "I can control everything," but the confidence that says, "I can handle whatever happens." That's real inner strength. It's not about predicting the future. It's about trusting yourself within it. And beyond trusting yourself, there's another layer: trusting life. This doesn't mean believing that everything will always go your way. It means understanding that life has its own intelligence, its own rhythm, its own timing. Think about your past for a moment. How many things didn't go according to your plan? but eventually led you somewhere meaningful. So how many unexpected turns turned out to be necessary? Often, the moments you tried hardest to control were the ones that needed to unfold differently. But you couldn't see that at the time because you were too focused on your version of how things should be. Letting life flow naturally means releasing that rigid expectation. It means allowing things to unfold without constantly interfering. And this doesn't make you passive, it makes you adaptable. Instead of breaking when life changes, you bend with it. Instead of resisting, you adjust. Instead of forcing, you respond. So, how do you actually practice letting go? It starts with awareness. You begin to notice when you're trying to control something, when you're overthinking, when you're forcing an outcome, when you're holding on too tightly. And in that moment, you pause, you take a breath, and you ask yourself a simple question. Is this something I can truly control? If the answer is no, then you practice releasing it. Not perfectly, not all at once, but gradually. You remind yourself, I will do what I can, and I will let go of the rest. This becomes a new way of living, a way that doesn't depend on certainty, a way that doesn't require everything to go exactly as planned, a way that allows you to experience life more fully. Because when you stop trying to control every moment, you start actually living them. You notice more, you feel more, you appreciate more. You become less trapped in your head and more connected to your life. And in that connection, something else begins to emerge. Freedom. Not the kind of freedom that comes from having everything under control, but the kind that comes from no longer needing it. A quiet, steady sense of peace. A feeling that no matter what happens, you'll be okay. Because you're no longer dependent on outcomes to define your well-being. You're grounded within yourself. And that is where true freedom begins. So maybe life was never meant to be controlled. Maybe it was meant to be experienced, trusted, and lived moment by moment. And maybe the peace you've been searching for isn't found in holding on tighter, but in finally letting go. If this message resonated with you, and you're ready to explore a calmer, more mindful way of living, make sure to subscribe to Buddha Flash for more insights like this. And before you go, take a moment to reflect. What is one thing in your life you're trying too hard to control right now? And what would happen if you finally let it go? Share your thoughts in the comments.